Get ready to elevate your commute with DJ Fanny Pack's Electrifying Drive Time Mixtape. This 15-minute audio journey starts off smooth and groovy with Elderbarge's classic Rhythm of the Night, setting the perfect vibe for your drive. As the beats roll in, you'll be transported to the golden era of R&B, with new additions infectious. Cool it now, cruising into the funky melodies of Midnight Star. But the energy doesn't stop there. DJ Fanny Pack seamlessly transitions to Apollonia's sultry Nasty Girl, followed by the iconic beats of Grandmaster Flash's White Lines, keeping the momentum alive. As the mixtape heats up, get ready to bust a move with MC Hammer's chart-topping hits, alongside the smooth rhymes of LL Cool J. Finally, the mixtape wraps up on a high note with Whitney Houston's irresistible anthem, I Wanna Dance With Somebody, ensuring you end your journey feeling uplifted and ready to take on the world. Whether you're stuck in traffic or cruising down the highway, DJ Fanny Pack's Drive Time Mixtape is your perfect companion for a nostalgic and energetic ride. Don't forget your fanny pack and let the good times roll.
Hello, my name is Terrace Troy Horton. I'm here to share with you Project 1099, a transformative mentorship program for youth in grades 3rd through 9th in Dayton, Kentucky. Over the course of this 10-week mentorship program, participants will gain essential life skills like cooking, financial literacy, teamwork, all while earning rewards for their commitment. At the end of the program, they can choose whether to receive $99 in cash, $99 in merchandise to kick off their business, or even invest $99 in the money market through Fidelity Investments, learning about financial planning in the process. Our goal is to empower youth to become confident, independent, and entrepreneurial leaders in the community. We invite sponsors and participants to join us in making a meaningful impact on our youth's future. Stay tuned for more details on Project 1099. I'm Terrace Troy Horton, the most interesting man in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Hello, my name is Terrace Troy Horton. I'm here to share with you Project. Welcome back to another exciting episode of our Blended Journey podcast. My name is Terrace Troy Horton. This week, we'll be diving into some thought-provoking topics that are sure to spark conversation and reflection. First up, we'll be discussing the very current and sensitive issue in the world of sports, the controversy surrounding the transgender athlete in the Olympics. As we know, this topic has been at the forefront of discussion in many years, and it raises important questions about inclusivity, fairness, and the evolving definition of gender in athletics. We'll explore the perspectives surrounding the issue, examining both sides of the challenge faced by the transgender athlete and the implications for the sporting community as a whole. Next, we're excited to discuss 36 questions that couples can ask each other to deepen their relationship. These questions are designed to foster intimacy and understanding, providing a roadmap for couples to explore their feelings and experiences together. We'll also touch on the topic of masculine and feminine roles, highlighting how these roles can influence communication and connection. Now, speaking of connection, we want to share with you how we stay vibrant at 50. I enjoy playing pickleball, wiffleball, volleyball. Meanwhile, Tammy has dedicated her fitness routine, working out with a personal trainer 2 to 3 times a week, focusing on her diet, and also incorporating running into her regimen. And as always, we have much more lined up for you. So whether you're tuning in during your morning commute or winding down after a long day of work, we invite you to sit back, relax, stay tuned as we explore these topics and much more on episode 6 of our Blended Journey podcast. Remember, subscribe, leave us a message. Welcome.
Well, hello and welcome back to our Blended Journey podcast. My name is Terrace Horton. I'm here with my beautiful, beautiful wife, Tammy Horton. How are you tonight, honey?
I'm doing good. I'm excited about our topics tonight.
Me too. I think it's a good night to dive in and talk about some topics. This is episode number 6. We're halfway. I think we're going to do 11 or 12. We'll do 12 if we don't do one before we go to Hilton Head. Everybody, if we do one before we go, because we go to Hilton Head on Thursday and we usually do the episodes on a Wednesday. So I guess that's just something we got to talk about then, huh?
I guess so. How are you doing tonight, sweetheart?
Feel great. I feel accomplished. I've been up early making content all day long. I've been busy at it, and it's been a good successful. I'm in a groove. Like I don't know if I've talked to you about this, but there's not often times in life where you can create what I can create like this. I've never been as comfortable as I've been able to be comfortable and in a place and time in life where I've been able to just get up in the morning, go create, go to work, cut a couple of heads, come back, create a little bit more, take my laptop. Being a Mac user, everything is a lot fluid. So I can make a mixtape, create some content, work on my campaign, work on this podcast, work on business stuff, all within a day, and it comes out. All my creative, it oozes out of me. So my day's been going great.
That's a good thing.
How was your day going?
My day went really well. Clients were awesome and amazing, and had a new client today, so that's always exciting. Week that is going to be with women going through perimenopause and menopause. Not necessarily my particular clients, but it's going to be opened up to at least 12 women. It'll be a closed group for 12 weeks. So I'm really excited about that because everybody has different journeys and different doctors and different supplements and pellets and just bringing women together, since we spend 40% of our lives in menopause or longer, right? And then the second group is going to meet once a month, and that's going to be a support group on how to navigate high conflict co-parenting. So I'm really excited about both of those.
That's awesome. Those are two groups that are much needed in our community, and I can't wait to dive into that here in a little bit once we get through these. Not get through, but once we finish with these next few episodes, and then we'll start working in those groups. I'm very excited for that. I guess we'll just dive into it. There's been a big controversy on the boxing because when the girl first came out, the boxer first came out, everybody had the wrong opinion. Let's just watch this real quick and then we'll see what's going on.
Algerian boxer Iman Khalif is in the middle of a debate around gender regulations in sports. On Thursday, her Italian opponent Angela Carini pulled out just 46 seconds into their match at the Paris Olympics, and Khalif was declared the winner. Some are pointing to Khalif's disqualification from the 2023 World Championships after the International Boxing Association cited heightened levels of testosterone in her system. But that metric of eligibility has been questioned by scientists and the International Olympic Committee. In fact, the IOC has had multiple disagreements with the IBA. The IOC has now banned the IBA and said its decision to disqualify Khalif was without any due process. Khalif herself called her disqualification a conspiracy at the time. Khalif was assigned female at birth, and it says so on her passport, which is now the IOC's threshold for eligibility after its disagreements with the IBA. But the issue has become politicized, with figures like former US President Donald Trump and author J.K. Rowling questioning Khalif's eligibility in women's boxing. And it's raising concerns over women of color being disproportionately targeted when it comes to gender regulations and perceptions in sports.
So on that, I don't know. It seems pretty cut and dry that if someone is born with female parts, she would participate in female sports.
Correct.
So what's from your perspective, your professional perspective, what is going on here?
DNA test results show that they have XY chromosomes, which is typically found in boys and males. However, they were born with female parts. And so it hasn't been confirmed, but it's suspect that they have differences in sexual development, or what's called Sawyer syndrome, which is women who have higher levels of testosterone. And because of that XY chromosome, that's typically seen in males. However, some men have very low testosterone, and some women have very high testosterone. And so when I think one match, Keith's match was on a Wednesday, and then Lynn's she's from Taiwan, was on a Thursday. There was controversy coming out saying that these women were transgender, which neither one identify as transgender, and they both were born with female parts. And Keith, I pronounced it wrong, she was disqualified once.
They were saying that
Yeah,
interview.
because her testosterone levels are high, but this is just something her body naturally does. And I think both of these women took this to their advantage. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
Yeah, I don't need. I mean, it's as
But I'm not in the sports world. You're the one with kids in sports. I am not in the sports world.
The reason I believe like you're more qualified to speak on it is because that's a community of people that who you deal with more. I don't, so I don't know to even have empathy. All I know is like I do have children in sports, and if my child was to come to me and say, "Hey, Dad, I want to play women's sports," I wouldn't know how I would handle it. I have not had to deal with that, but I don't know how I would handle it. So I wouldn't even want to even speak on any of that kind of stuff because I wouldn't know. But if a woman, if she's born with a vagina and women's parts, I don't see why she wouldn't be able to play women's sports, or if she was got an advantage. That's like saying, and when the lady in the thing, she said people of color, I don't understand. Is this rare disease only specifically for people of color, or is this goes around the board?
It's so rare that I don't think there's enough research out there that states either way, or research that I've seen.
Yeah.
I think it's very sad because one of the boxing matches, the opponent quit right away.
Yeah. And,
right?
and they sensationalized that a whole lot. Like everybody, she was talking about President Trump. I didn't see that. I have not heard him say anything about that, so I don't know if but it was AP. That was AP News that we just watched. So I mean, I do trust that source. But it's the sensationalism of it from seeing social media when it first came out, and people were like, "Oh, this is unfair. Look where our country's going." All that kind of stuff without even having any kind of concrete evidence or facts or anything behind this. Is just like, I think that's where the United States is going so fast. It's to quickly judge things and not have a clear understanding. And that's why I'm glad that we have each other, because we can, like, before I go off on the deep end on anything that I lack understanding on, I'm coming to you first because you're more versed in certain things, and I feel that you do that same thing with me. That's a good balance, man, because that's what
I think it is. And it goes back to, I think we touched on it in our last podcast. It goes back to the first picture that came up of the Olympics. You had saw media say it was a depiction of the Last Supper, and that wasn't reality.
Yes. And
so you see right wing running with it. And that wasn't the case.
Yeah. And in I was more upset about it. They were going to say if it was a Last Supper, why weren't it depicted as black people? Because I was like, why are we getting left out? But that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
But I guess we're in agreement on that when it comes to or not even agreement. We got an understanding. I did not understand when it first came out, and I wasn't going to be quick to judge about a female who, because I don't believe, like when Riley Gaines, the girl who swam at UK. I believe that she should be only have to swim with people who, that's my personal beliefs, because I have a sons that play sports, and I believe that he should compete with other men. That's just but I don't know anything different. So
my opinion is different. My opinion is the opposite. What you identify with, you should be able to compete in.
Brian says, if she has one, and this is Brian, you brought this up, so I appreciate you bringing
this very much.
We appreciate this. If she has woman's parts and not transgender, then maybe we should look at it differently. At first, it was a man beating a woman. Whoa, educate yourself and let the media weigh my thoughts. That lady just hit so hard and won the gold.
Absolutely, she did. And again, it hasn't been confirmed. Sway my thoughts. Exactly. It hasn't been confirmed with the difference in sexual development, the DSD or the Sawyer syndrome, but her DNA, which got her disqualified previously, she has XY chromosomes, which are typically found in males. But she was born with female reproductive organs. That doesn't make her a male. And social media jumps to the biggest controversies that they can.
Trying to sell newspapers. They're trying to sell clickbait. It's all clickbait, man. It's crazy. Speaking of clickbait, the next subject that we have is for couples and for potential couples. It's 36 questions of you may want to ask your mate, or you can ask anyone to ask. Okay, here's where I guess where we'll start on this one.
Well, it was developed by author Aaron, who is a social psychologist that has developed questions that would influence hormones, brain, and behavior. And so if a couple sat down and asked themselves these 36 questions, would they develop feelings for each other?
If any couple,
A potential dating couple.
So, okay. So I think we both wanted to know this question, and this is a good one. If you is this one that you wanted? Because this is one I want to know about you. If you could invite anyone to the world to dinner, who would it be? Do you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
I want you to guess who you think I would say.
Like dead or alive?
It doesn't say dead or alive, so let's go with live first.
Alive. Okay. Alive. I would say you would want to have dinner with Gottman.
No.
Okay. I was saying Gottman, so that was my guess. Okay.
And not Gottman. I think I had two that came up, actually. I love Gabor Mate. He's a famous trauma doctor. And, I'm going to go with the Marleys.
Lamar, yeah, all right.
Literally. Ziggy or Damien. I would pick Ziggy first, but I just love Damien's music. So
those are tangible. That's tangible.
Yeah. What about you? Who would you go to dinner with?
You got to guess who I'm sure you already know, but who do you guess?
Louis Farrakhan.
Absolutely. That would be
I got it right.
You got it right. If I had a chance to go to dinner with anyone, it would be Minister Louis Farrakhan. I guarantee it would be the person who I would go to dinner with and to try to pick his brain before I don't know what I would say. I just want to be in his presence, but that's who I would be. I pick to me, he's the person who helped catapult my sober living journey, with alcohol-free journey. And I just want to hug him and hug that man and tell him, thank you so much for saving me and several other people out there, and he doesn't get as much credit. So I'd like to give him his flowers while I could. That's one I would. So okay.
I am with the Ziggy. Bob Marley's music was such an influence to me as a child in such a safe place.
Yes.
That I just want to hug him.
It's like, thank you. Mm-hmm. Okay, so number 2 is. Did you want this one? Would you like to be famous?
Down. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you wrote it down for me or for you?
For you. What would you? But we both have to answer, and that's part of the 36 questions. So, would you like to be famous, and if so, in what way?
Would I like to be famous, and if so, in what way? I'm not sure if I have not already reached the height of fame that I want to achieve, because I've always in my life tried to go steadily, progressively up, and not progressively up and not plateau too soon. So I want to keep doing this until I can't. So if I wanted to be famous for something, and this is real, and I tell people this all the time that when they ask me, I want to be known for the Black heterosexual voice that flipped Democrats to Republican. I want when people think of when people leaving Black men are leaving the Democratic Party, I want to be one of those voices and one of those entrepreneurs and one of those Black strong voices. They were like, yeah, Terrence Troy Horton is one of the people who led Black men away from the Democratic Party into independence or the Republican Party, just away from them. That's what I'd like to be famous for. What about you, sweetheart?
Would I like to be famous, and if so, what for? You know where I'm going with this. What I do for a living is my passion, and if I could be famous, in what way? I would love to travel the world and go into medical Institute and talk about how trauma impacts the body, and perhaps write a book.
All those things are tangible. All those things are. We can do whatever we want to do.
But I would like to go into like medical schools and teach about how trauma impacts the body, autoimmune disorders, and various other things.
Beautiful. Love your mind. Love your mind. Okay, number 3. Before making a telephone, that wasn't one that was it?
No, we did. What
This one.
constitutes a perfect day for you?
Okay, you go first on this one because I don't want you copycatting on me on this one.
Copycatting. I think we've had. I mean, what constitutes a perfect day? The first thing I'm going to go for is, of course, kayaking. The second thing, I think we had a perfect day on Saturday. We went to Augusta and hung out I met some of your friends and shot guns. Not a particular thing I like to do, but I love to be out in the middle of nowhere. And then we went to Augusta and walked around and had lunch. And I think we went to the grocery store afterwards. I mean, just a perfect day with you we go thrift store shopping and pick out things for our home and grab lunch or go to breakfast and go over our planners, which obviously we haven't done because you're missing that concert next week. That was on me. But those are my examples of perfect dates that we've had recently.
I was going to say the same thing. Like Saturday to me was a perfect day. We got up early, had breakfast. Oh, we got up early. I got out a little bit, came back. I just went shotguns with my friends. Went to Augusta, like you said. Saturday was like the perfect day. This whole weekend, and then just going to Findlay Market on Sunday, getting the stuff that we needed to get, and then just coming back. Like, far gone are the days of me. Because at the beginning of the year, if you remember, I was like, we got to travel more.
Every month we got to go somewhere.
Every month, we got to take a long weekend every month and go to Florida, go somewhere. And then we started doing that, and I was like, this sucks. I want to stay home.
Right.
And it's cool. It's cool to be settled in at home and not want to. I don't mind traveling because like we're going to Myrtle or Hilton Head in a couple of weeks, and I'm looking forward to that. But it also feels amazing to be in a comfortable space that all our kids and family can come and hang out.
Mm-hmm. I thought Sunday was perfect. Dad and Mom came over in the morning and
read Brian's comment.
Famous would be cool as long as it means you're rich. Hate to be famous and be broke. That was
that is the truth. That's the truth, man. It ain't worth it. And you be having all the fame and be broke with that. I mean, that's shoot. I know, and being in the music industry, I got to get off. Being in the music industry, I got to speak on that. A lot of people in the music industry, when me and Paige first started cutting hair, and then we had a choice to make: go follow the music industry, or go cut hair. And Paige and I both were like dibble dabbling in the music industry, and we saw that those guys weren't. They might be famous and they were on TV and they were on BET and living all the high life, but they did not have 2 pennies to rub together. And me and Paige, we were doing well cutting hair. So, to what Brian said, I'd rather not be famous. And if I'm fame, I want the money too. Give me the money. That's why I promise you, honey, though, I do stuff to turn people off for that reason. Like when people think, oh man, I'm really starting to like terrorists. I say stuff like I'm trying to turn all black people off of the Democratic Party.
Babe, you do realize your wife's part of the Democratic Party, right?
I'm trying to turn you too, slowly but surely. It's all good,
Good luck.
I know. I'm.
I know.
It's just a joke. That was just a joke.
I know.
Back to these questions.
The next one I picked is, what do you value most in a friendship? I don't know what number that was.
Oh, okay. This one. Do you have this one too?
What, baby?
3. Is this not up there? Let's see here. Sorry. Did you have that one?
Name 3 things you and your partner appear to have in common.
Did you not have that one?
I did not have that one. Go
Okay.
ahead. What are 3 things you?
No, I'm trying to find the ones that we do have.
I have the friend one. What do you value most in friendship?
And I have this one too. I have the for what in your life are you most grateful for?
I like that one. What in your life are you most grateful for?
For what in my life am I most grateful for? It's like a whole lot of things. I guess I'll just say in this journey and this point in all of my life, I'm grateful for peace and safety.
Mm-hmm.
Not having to be in survival mode, not having to worry about looking over my shoulder, like just having genuine peace and communication and all that kind of things. I think that's huge for in my life right now. Is like I'm most grateful for that. I'm most grateful for there's a plethora of things, but I think the most grateful thing as far as like the peace, having the peace. What about you?
I would have to steal that from you. Peace and safety. 2 of the most things I'm most grateful for. You know, because there's a whole list, you know, our lives, our family, our kids.
Checking about the way take formats to take your partner as much detail as possible. The friend, I'm trying to get to the friend ones. The friend one.
I didn't write down numbers that they were.
What is your great? I'm just wondering, what is your accomplishment in life? Okay, here it is. What do you value most?
In friendship.
Most in friendship. I know that we're both of us are much better friends to our friends than they are to us. I'll say that again. I want to come on camera and say that. Both my wife and I are way better friends to our friends than they are friends to us. We'll pick up and I think so.
There's, you know, some of my girlfriends, Cheryl, Suzanne, Mel, Jay, Carol, like, I think what I value most about those friendships is they're always there to lift us up, you know, but all of them celebrate us and celebrate what we're doing. I don't feel in any of those relationships that we're better friends to them than they are us. I think it's pretty even. I think you know, for instance, Jamie be operating at a 40% and I'm operating at an 80%. So, you know, I'm going to give him space for what he needs and he does the same. Carol is just an amazing inspiration. Cheryl, we've traveled the world together. Suzanne, I just love her wisdom. Mel, I think she's doing great things in her life. And they are here to celebrate us too.
Yeah, I agree. I believe all that. All our friends are there to celebrate us. I was thinking I guess I was speaking for my friends. I'll do more for my friends and I'll be there and I'll pick up for my friends where I know they wouldn't pick up and be there for me.
And there's some friends in my life too, but what I value the most is the friends that show up and celebrate us. And I hope that we are doing the same for them.
Absolutely. Like at our wedding when we had our group of friends came together, that was a beautiful thing.
That was gorgeous.
And I know that it'll happen again. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Maybe I'm just mad at my friends right now. Maybe I'm mad at my friends and I feel like my friends, when you guys are watching this, I feel like I'm a better friend to you guys than you have been to me lately. Not always. I can feel like you guys have been a better friend to me than I've been a friend to you. But here lately, there's been some instances where I feel like my friends ain't showed up for me, man. I feel like I'm calling y'all out right now. That ain't fair. That ain't fair, man. Because you know I'd be there for you. You know I would. So it's my opportunity to say, hey, y'all need to shoot. That's not fair. I ain't gonna say no names, but you know.
I think we both have people in our lives that we are growing out of, and there's grief there, right? And so as we continue our journey, that, you know, we meet new people and some friendships. We had that whole conversation on one of the podcasts about friendships, and I wish I knew you needed help moving, as I would have helped. They knew I was moving and already moved without their help. Oh goodness.
And and not like Brian, like I know if somebody called Brian and said, hey man, I need you to come help me move, Brian would be there. You know, I mean, like, but that's neither here nor this.
And Brian supports our podcast, right? He's with us almost every weekend. I love that so much and thank him for that. He's celebrating us.
The what you said too about outgrowing people and seasons in their life too. I think that's natural and that's normal. I mean, we don't do things like there's a whole group of friends who I love very deeply who I don't hang out with anymore because they're still a part of the nightlife. And, you know, like we're in bed by 9 o'clock. You know, so we're like, if I want to hang out with those people, I'd have to go to where they're at and be in their element because they're definitely sure not going to come in mine because, you know, it's just a different type of lifestyle. They don't want to come into my element. It's okay. And like you said, I guess it's just grief. It's just a little grief in them.
There's grief, and I think we've both experienced that lately. But I think the other beautiful thing about our relationship is we're bringing our friends together, and we're making more friends through that. You know, we have a date with Brad and Lindsay.
Yeah, going to the Nelly concert.
Right.
And you're right.
So, you know, Carol and John. I mean, Jay and Jason. We've gone to dinner with them.
And we do have a very, very eclectic group of friends. Like we have gay couple friends, we have interracial couple friends, we have interracial couple friends that have adopted African kids. I mean, it's just a whole.
We have that we have with every year. We love them. You know, it's just sad that they're in Indianapolis and we're down here, and so everyone's busy in their lives, and so we don't get to be around them as much. But that's a friendship that we enjoy. You know, this is what our 4th year going to Hilton Head this year.
Yes, and if my friends that do watch this, you know, I'm not talking about everybody. It's just the ones who I'm just upset with. But we do have an amazing group of friends, and I love that they celebrate us and we celebrate them. You're absolutely right. What do you value in friendship? Okay, what is your most treasured memory? That's not one. What is your That's not one. What does friendship mean to you? We just did that one. What roles do love and affection play in your life? Was that one, sweetie?
That's what we could do.
Well, oh snap! I'm not sharing this screen. Every time I think I'm sharing this screen, I'm not. There we go. It's gonna work out. There we go. So, what roles do love and affection play in your life?
I think it plays a huge role in our lives. We're always affectionate towards each other on most days, I think. And I think that we got a comment today. We walked to the bank on a break and we passed someone, and what was her words? You
guys belong to each other.
Yeah, it looks like you guys are made for each other. And I think, you know, the people around us see our love and affection, and it's a beautiful thing. And we're still, we're 3 years in together. We still hold hands in the car and all of the cute, affectionate things. It's important for a relationship to have affection.
Oh, okay. What about the 3 we statements? Was that one?
Yes.
Make 3 we statements for each other. This is so sappy. People are gonna be like, "They're so sappy." But these are questions as a couple. These are some questions you can go through. These questions right here, and I'll put a link in here to the 36 questions you can ask. And what we're trying to do on our Blended Journey podcast since day one is strengthen relationships between people. Whether you're newly dating or looking to date someone or married for a long time or any of those kind of things, we're just trying to learn from all of us, learn from each other. Make three true.
You know what this brought up for me? I don't even remember which Hilton Head trip it was, but I thought I was buying some sort of trivia friend card game. And remember, we took it and it was like the most depressing questions. I think it was something from this, like Amy picked one of the cards and it was just not appropriate for a bunch of friends to get together and answer relationship questions.
Yeah.
Make 3 true we statements each. For instance, we are both in the room feeling.
I've got one. I'll make one, then you make one.
Okay.
We are both better together.
Absolutely, we are. I think we both are better together. I think we put our marriage before anything else every single day.
That's a good one. That's a good one. We truly respect each other's opinions on other things. We truly do. I do believe that we truly value each other's opinions on things and don't try to overstep our boundaries and have healthy boundaries in our relationship with cars, like religion, politics, and extracurricular activities.
You stole part of that one from what I was gonna say. We this one's a difficult one. I'm struggling over here. We prioritize family over. No, that's not a good one. I think we cherish each other's differences and respect them.
That's a good one.
I think we honor each other's differences because we wouldn't want to be the same.
It gets me out of stuff too. I mean, I can't do that. My wife's a Democrat.
Okay. I mean, for instance, like I thought I was, you just came downstairs before the podcast and caught me feeding more animals outside. So
I'm over it. They can have it.
Henry eating all the tomato plants or the tomatoes off the tomato plant, and Henry is the squirrel outside. And I think it's time for Henry to go back to having a bowl of peanuts on the porch. And there's 3 little doves outside. They've been there since we got home, and
Whatever.
they needed food.
They can have it. Y'all have at it. I'm not my fight. I just need the bird feed. That's it. So okay, 3 week. My last one is we, and this is a good one. We have a very bright future together. Very bright future together.
Absolutely, we do. Absolutely, we do.
If you were going to become close friends with your partner, please share with you. Tell your partner what you like about. Is this one of them? Share your partner your embarrassing moments in life. Did you cry? When's the last time you cried? We cried. I don't know.
When did you last cry in front of another person or by yourself? I cried today. I mean, that happens behind closed doors, and I'm not ashamed to say that.
Brian said, I'm retired from relationships. Just me, my family, my boys, my dogs. I don't see me getting into a relationship till my sophomore goes to college. That's fair. That's Brian. That's fair.
Absolutely.
Oh, and that's a healthy boundary that you set for yourself, that you could say, hey, if you do meet somebody, like these are your priorities, man, that's super fair.
So I guess that means Brian don't want us to fix him up with anyone.
Because that's going to be next, Brian, our next season. Because a lot of people have been asking Tammy about matchmaking. Our next season, we might do some matchmaking stuff, but when did the last time cried in front of another person or by yourself? I mean, oh, I know when I cried. This is good too. I cried the other day whenever I was making a beat. It was so good, it made me cry. I was like, oh. I made this. I mean, and it never happened before. I knew I was in the right thing because I'm like, that's the last time I cried.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I think we got 1 or 2 more, and then we get to go to another wonderful topic. Sure. And this is when's the last time? Okay. Tell your partner something that you like about them, or this is the last one. Okay. Okay. Tell your partner something that you like about them already.
Tell your partner something that you like about them already. I love your humor and your creativity.
I got to take this off so you can see that this is a good one. I love the fact that you want to be a wife.
Aww.
That's, and I guess I can roll into our thing. You desire to be a wife and to be in your feminine, that you are now safe to be there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You operate very well. I like that you are operating in your feminine very well. And if and like what like the plight that you have taken to be in life right now, raising your children, you've had to wear both hats. So, like it's good that you're able to, now that we're empty nested and we don't have any kids at home, and like you don't have. I like that you're into your feminine, and it's pretty awesome.
It feels really safe. I think, men are routinely seen as providers and protectors, while women are viewed as empathetic and sensitive and caregiving. And I think, I'm going to be honest, I struggled with that in the beginning of our relationship because I was used to doing everything on my own, wearing both the masculine and feminine side. And so it was a wall I had to let down and start telling myself I'm safe. And, men both have feminine and masculine qualities, because if a man operated solely on masculine qualities, there wouldn't be any emotions or vulnerability.
I agree. I mean, I like to think that my sisters. Growing up with my sisters, they taught me how to be sensitive and to. I mean, I think that has a lot to do with a lot of stuff. Like my sisters taught me a lot about how to. They didn't teach me everything, but they taught me to be in touch with your feminine side, because I've never been afraid to dress expressively the way I dress, and how. I've been through stages. I've never wore eyeliner or anything like that kind of stuff, but I've been, like flashy dressing and more metrosexual in my dress. I think that's tapping into some, I would say, feminine side, because I don't really think I have any, like I don't know, that kind of stuff. I feel like I'm more of not alpha male. I don't know, how do you describe me?
I think sometimes you do run solely on the masculine side, because we talked about this earlier, I bring something to you and you're like, fuck that bitch. I'm like, no, I need you to hear me and be vulnerable and have emotions about what I'm telling you as well.
Yeah. I mean, but
But then other times, I feel protected, I feel provided for, I feel cared for. I feel that you understand falls under feminine and not masculine.
Whenever people hear about feminine and masculine roles and gender roles and things like that, they typically would think that we're talking about cooking and cleaning and stuff. And we do have roles that way too. Like, I don't touch your dishwasher and you don't touch my lawnmower. It's like like the yard is mine, the kitchen's yours. Like you of course are in the yard, but and I'm in the kitchen, but those are yours. The yard is my space, where I'm like, oh, I want it to look this certain way, and the kitchen is in the house, inside the house is your space. So I mean,
don't touch my washing machine,
washer, dryer. I've never even touched it, and the only time I touched the dishwasher, I broke it, so I can't touch that either.
I think we do good at navigating a partnership with traditional gender roles and not traditional gender. I think the partnership comes above most times in traditional gender roles, because the traditional gender roles can pose a threat and stunt growth, and really lacks vulnerability sometimes and empathy.
I don't want somebody. I mean, like I don't desire to have someone who's gonna operate more in masculine. If at all. I mean, because I think that women, if they operated more in feminine and allowed men to, to operate in their masculine role, because women can get whatever they want. I'm a firm believer that a woman can get anything out of a man as long as they ask them a good man. I'm not talking about the deadbeats or the punks or the scout, the bad guys. I'm talking about the good men who, like how we have said previously, we want to be married. We want to stay married. We want to have a good, healthy relationship. Most men who I talk to who are good men, they're reasonable. And if women would operate in the feminine with them, they would probably get a whole lot more done. And I mean, relationships, because one of our goals of our Blended Journey podcast that we have, it's like unspoken that we're working on next season and stuff, is the divorce rate is so high in the United States of America. Both of us have been, are statistics that attribute to those numbers.
Absolutely.
But moving forward, we want to make sure that we don't go through that. And if we can help not help other couples, but work with other couples, and as they work with us on providing steps and relationship, not advice, but experiences that help each other. Like say, oh yeah, when somebody else is empty nesting, oh yeah, we empty nested, so we know what that feels like to have that child leave, and it feels like your whole
world is upside down.
Yeah, but until you go through it, you don't know.
Right.
But then but that's what we want to do in our relationship is to curb that divorce rate. However it looks for whatever kind of couples. That's why you're going to be working with a high conflict group, and with my everyday with the mentorship program that I'm going to be doing, we're going to talk about those kind of things.
Yeah.
Successful relationships and successful relationships, who you choose as a partner really can determine everything that goes on in your life. I'm a strong believer in that.
Well, I think too, when I didn't say anything about not hooking me up at all. I changed my shit status as we speak.
And then he's got this.
I like when clothes be ironed. I do it myself. Wash white as it should be. Great that you separate laundry, because I don't think Troy does. That's really cool. It's important to care about how you look and present yourself. And I think sometimes, I would say all the time, sometimes when women operate in the masculine form in a heterosexual relationship, it can come off as parent-child.
1,000,000%.
Mm-hmm.
And to dig a little bit deeper in that, like we want to dig a little deeper, it's like when most men, when you have the divorce rate the way it is, most men don't grow up with a 2-family household or to have a masculine man in the role. So they're used to the women being the masculine and the feminine. So they don't know how to deal. They don't know how to it's just a weird dynamic that's going on in our culture right now that we need help fixing.
Absolutely.
Because there's no reason why the divorce rate, unless marriages don't mean anything anymore. Unless marriage, I mean, if that's the case, that's the case. If marriage just don't mean nothing, you're willy-nilly going through getting married, and because I'm a statistic of it, But every time I'm very happy to be married, and I'm very happy to be married with you, to you, and but we've talked about how every divorce that I've been through, ripped my face off. It was worse than death. Grieving a death is grieving those divorces, because it was like, I didn't think I was going to get divorced. And any of the times that I got married, I did not go into those marriages thinking, I'm going to get divorced. Mm-hmm. So, to be in, I can say that the reason why those marriages did not work and that I did, and I ended up getting a divorce, is because I wasn't allowed to operate in the masculine. I wasn't allowed to operate in my masculine in those relationships because we were in survival mode. I was raising kids and doing the best that I can, trying to go back and forth to Louisville to bring my kids up here, to blend them into a family just for a weekend, to have things I understand that the things and the dynamics that happen, but still, if being able to operate in the masculine role, like in those relationships that you and I have, there's no doubt that there's nothing that we can't get through, because we have both agreed to communicate our way through it, and it's just a different dynamic.
And I think to piggyback off of that, we talked about essentially that thing on the 80-20 rule, why infidelity is so high. Your marriage fulfills 80% of what it needs to, but that 20% leads to excitement, right? And so in the end, that 20%, which causes infidelity, is when marriages break up. And we go back to talking about men being providers and protectors. This is the first time in my life I felt safe in a marriage. Felt that I didn't have to do everything on my own. You've given me that space to provide and protect. And that, again, was a hard wall to let down. because I'm safe with you. And that's a total different feeling. Like you said earlier, you're finally safe to create in your own space.
Yeah.
I think safety is huge.
And a lot of people, and like the divorce rate wouldn't be so high if more people would get to that place of safetyness, so to speak, and it's not that, like, I don't believe it's that difficult unless, communication, just clear communication. And like, if we both told each other that if we can't communicate with each other, where it's not even worth being in a relationship with each other, because there's no reason to, because that's clearly the way to have a healthy relationship is to communicate with each other.
And to listen. Right?
Brian, I grew up Pentecostal. Women were the workers to provide. Men sat back and had the women provide for the husband and the children, while the husband sat back. Still happens in most of my family, still does. I'm breaking the mode. I just don't agree. Women were the workers to provide. Actually, I don't understand that. Do the men work to provide or the women work to provide? Because I grew up Pentecostal as well, and I think Tammy grew up Church of God of Christ.
Church of Christ.
Church of Christ. So we both have those roots in
Traditional gender roles.
And I like it. Shoot, I ain't gonna lie, I like it. I like that my wife wants to be a wife. I'm telling you, I love it. I like that you want to be a wife. I don't want my wife trying to tell me what to, not that I would ever. This is a perfect place to talk about this. My wife wants to be a wife so much that it's sometimes too much. For example, if we're walking in the store and we're walking through Aldi's, let's say Aldi's, and you're like, you see something that you want, and you're like, honey, can we get this? And I'm like, oh, I'm going to look like I'm the controlling husband. Like, I'm going to look like a flipping idiot because my wife is such a good woman and such a good wife, and it's not nothing that's forced, and it's not nothing that I've never made you do or anything like that. It just comes natural that you're coming to me and you're saying, honey, can we get this? And I'm like, you can get whatever you want. You ain't got to ask me. And then everybody's looking at me like, oh, who is this flipping controlling black guy with this pretty white girl? And she's got to ask if she can buy a box of granola.
But what did you say earlier? You said something like, you would do anything if I asked. I forget how you worded that.
If you like the way how you ask, I'll do anything you ask me to do. I'll do anything.
Are you ready for what I'm going to ask you to do?
I'll do anything that you ask me to do as long as it doesn't overstep my boundaries of my manhood and what I feel like I should be doing. Brian, I think there's an explanation. Men worked a job to provide. Women took care of the child. Yes. Just not reality in 2024. But I still see it in my family as well. I still see it in my niece, and she takes care of the kids, and Michael Gilmore works, and Quenisha. I mean, so there are in the marriage, and I don't know, man. I cut a lot of people's hair because like we've talked about before, I have purposely catered my clientele to people who are like-minded like myself, men who want to stay married, men who are not out here running around on their wives. If they're single, there's one thing I get to talk and live vicariously. Not live vicariously. I can talk shit with my buddies. I'm like, yeah, you still with that old girl? I'm like, oh, you should dump her, man. She's ain't no good. Me and my boys can still have good talk that are single, locker room talk. But genuinely, the clients that I have and the people who I surround myself around, all are married, all want to be married, all love their wives, and we all have that same commonality. So I don't know.
Can we go look at puppies this weekend? I'm kidding. I'm not ready. I'm just going to be a smart ass, right? You said, no.
Puppies.
I'm not ready for that journey yet.
I don't think I am either. Well, this has been another wonderful show. Did we cover everything that we were supposed to cover?
No, we did it. How are we caring for ourselves as we've hit 50 and 51?
Oh, yes. So
right? How are we doing in this aging process? What are we doing?
Playing pickleball. I played pickleball Monday with my buddy Nate Engel. Him and his wife just had their 13th year anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
Two girls, two daughters, madly in love with each other still. I'm like, I love it, dude. I was like, and we went and played pickleball and doing the pickleball thing, riding my bike, still staying away from beef for the most part, doing lamb. I need to work out more. I do need to work out more, but that's just, it is what it is. But for the most part, I feel like, cutting alcohol out of my life is going to add 50 more years to my life.
Mm-hmm.
Being in a healthy relationship,
Yeah.
that's, like in 50,
healthy relationships, not just you and I, but who we surround ourselves with. I think as we go through this journey, I wouldn't say we're more picky, but what quality of friendships and people we want in our lives has changed.
yeah, amount of stuff that we won't take, because you're not going to let nobody take advantage of me, and I'm not going to let nobody take advantage of you.
And we played volleyball on Friday nights with our kids and Carol.
Yeah.
To stay, I train with Carol 2 days a week. I need to be more cognizant of doing the flood wall. I was doing a couple miles. That kind of fell off the last couple of weeks, so it's on my agenda tomorrow after my training with Carol. And
I think you do a good job, though. You're very disciplined in your training and how you go about what you do. You're very disciplined, and I think it's awesome how you do it.
Thank you. And then I get rewarded when we go out to eat, and I'm like, like next 2 weeks, when I don't do any more than 20 carbs, here we go. Can we go get
Absolutely not. That's what I'm gonna start doing. Every time you ask me something when we're out in public, I'm gonna be like, hell no, woman, we ain't going nowhere.
You tell me about the frozen yogurt place.
I'm like, I shouldn't have let you out. Only time I should let you, I'm gonna be like Mr. did Miss Seeley. What Brian said, we just shaved off. Yeah.
Yeah. I would love to learn to play golf.
That's a good, walking up and down that golf course is a good thing.
Hey, sweetie, show off your shirt.
CBE logo. It's a part of our blended Journey podcast. Is my wife and I have a T-shirt line that we have mental health, promoting mental health, and our lucky winners of our weekly giveaways. We have been Brian. I think we sent Brian this shirt, and I think we might have sent Tiffany Hadley.
We sent
Tina. Yeah, and we've seen, so every week we pick a winner and we send them a gift. And this shirt right here is Mental Health Matters Kentucky, because mental health matters.
Absolutely.
We promote mental health, and we're just starting to scratch the surface on the amount of mental health promotion that we're doing. We've got a lot of exciting things coming from the pipeline, and just excited to have those things happening. We're almost done. We got 2 more minutes. Is there anything you'd like to say in closing? Anything else that you want to?
In closing, we got to recap, we got the group starting in October, so we'll have more information about that. Oh, that's good. You did. I didn't know if he just got the Wheaties box or he got a shirt too.
Yeah, I sent him a shirt as well. Yeah, I know he's a UK fan, so it's his UK colors for him.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And we're going to get more shirts made with some more mental health awareness on it, and that comes from our clothing line, The Barefoot Therapist.
And just in the last 50 seconds, I'm gonna leave you guys with this note. Here in next season, for season 2, it'll probably be October or 3rd quarter of next year. We're going to be doing live shows at our own location down in Covington at our spot. So stay tuned for that one. It's a lot of exciting stuff coming for season 2. Mm-hmm. But thank you for being in our Blended Journey podcast, episode number 6. We really appreciate everything. You can watch it now, watch it later, and you can tune in next week, 8 o'clock. My name is Terrace Troy Horton, and my wife,
Tammy Horton. I love you, baby.
Love you too, and we'll see you guys next week.